lighting, everyone should probably have a nice, simple Dunny, nice edges, and a very simple design on there. Don't go too far, and if you have, that's great for you. What we're going to do is start creating Arnold lighting. So one of the first things that you want to do, especially if you're on your own computer at home, is go to Settings and Plugin Manager. The things you want to make sure is that you have Arnold on, which is right here under Applications, Autodesk Arnold. All right, the plugins. So this should be bundled in with your download, or you may have to download Arnold and then make sure it's loaded in auto load. Okay, if it's not, it won't work. You won't have this Arnold right here. Basically, it's our default renderer. It used to be Mental Ray, and before that, it was just Maya hardware and software. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and get into the render mode because we're basically doing rendering all class. So what we're going to do is go ahead and create some lights. Go ahead and rip this off. There's several types. There's ambient, directional, point light. There's a whole bunch of types of lighting. We're not going to get into all of them. We're just going to tip our toe into the water with this. So we're just going to do a point light and go ahead, get rid of that really quickly. And so we're just going to do one light for the scene. You can actually do kind of a 2-point lighting scheme, but I just want you to kind of just get acclimated to what a light can do. So as you can see in this space, I'm moving a light around and you notice nothing is going on at all. Also, if I deleted this and I went to go render, right up here, these are your rendering tabs. If I go to render, it'll be black, okay? So with Arnold, it goes right to black. Typically, it used to have a hidden default light and it would kind of show up some sort of scene. So I'm gonna shut that off. I'm gonna go Apple Z. Let's see if I can get my light back. And there is my default light. It's kind of set at 10, and we'll look into the specs here in just a second. So if you do kind of want to see what's happening in real time, you can go to Render, Arnold, and there's this play button right here. You can see it's very lightweight. Now this is just to kind of get you adjusted to your lighting. It's going to be different when you render it. It's going to be a better quality, etc. And then it also knocks you off course here. So I really don't use it. I'm always in my rendering just kind of testing. All right, so one of the things that we noticed really quickly is that it was very, very dark in that scene. So we want to amplify that. So I'm going to go back to my Arnold, even though I say don't use it that much, and we're going to use it this time. So we're going to go to our attribute editor, and that will, if you've got your light selected, it'll show you some things that we can work on. So intensity is at 1. So you can see it's quite low. And it's still low even at 10. So I'm going to type in 100. All right, pretty bright, maybe 120. Let's go crazy. All right, so our shadow color is black. I like to knock it down a little bit to a soft gray. You can use depth matter shadows, resolution. I'm just going to leave that. Use Raytrace Shadows, and so let's see what it looks like right now. I'm just kind of turning things on at default, and we're going to kind of play around with that. So you can see our shadow, and we've got a shadow line here. It's pretty sharp right here. We want to soften that edge up. Unless we're like under a beam of light, all shadows kind of fall off. So what I've been, excuse me. So what I want to do is kind of work with the radius right here. I'm going to turn this on and work on this radius. I'm going to go up to maybe 5. And I'm going to go ahead and hit render again. Let's see it's starting to soften up, maybe a little bit too much. So I'm going to go back to that radius and knock it down. So there's a little bit of curvature or a little bit of fall off on that. So we're going to go ahead and hit render again. See it starting to soften up. All right, so one of the things I'd like to do is put a kind of a background in here so we can have something to bounce the light off of. All right, so really quickly, I'm just going to go ahead. This should be very quick for you guys also, since you're almost professional modelers now. We're going to go ahead and hit a plane. And I'm going to stretch this out. And I'm basically just going to go to vertex and kind of make a kind of a wall that kind of bends. All right. I can pull this forward. Forward. You could go to your side too if it makes it easier. Okay, it's quite primitive. Pull this back. Give me a little bit more polygons to work with. All right, this is a nice gentle wall to kind of bounce back. I'm even going to smooth this. So we go back to modeling, mesh, smooth. Let's see where that is. Edit mesh, smooth. All right, come on. Right there, sorry. All right, can I just smooth it out? Hit my space bar. And may smooth it one more time. G. All right, and I'm gonna push it back just a little bit so it's not going through his feet there. All right, and you notice really quickly that we've got the old image on there. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to rendering and assign new material. Just gonna do a Lambert, and I'm gonna make this kind of a white, so it's a contrasty. All right, so let's go ahead, zoom in, and we're going to render one more time. All right, so now you can see that's a pretty soft edge, probably a little bit too soft. The light intensity is really weak too, so I'm not going to go too far. I'm just going to go up on the light intensity just a little bit more, but obviously this is a good starting point where you can kind of play around and adjust these things. Even the shadows a little bit strange. Maybe go up to 200 here. Let's re-render. Again, you can just click on here. Again, we're just at the beginning of the deep world of rendering. We're just kind of just playing around right now. We're not going to go too far. All right, I want to soften that radius down a little bit, make it a little bit sharper. Let's go down to here. Let's see what that looks like. All right, so I'm going to kind of stop it here on this tutorial. So we have a second one. We'll actually kind of try to make a turntable out of this Dunny, so at least it turns around maybe a couple degrees. All right, good luck.